Hey everyone, nice to see all of you again. My name's Ian and I'm the product manager for the compliance group under the governance stage here at GitLab. Joining me is Nate Rosendich, the engineering manager for the compliance group for the governance stage here at GitLab as well. And today I'd like to share with you what we're going to be working on for the 17.3 release and the problems that we're hoping to solve with these initiatives for all of our GitLab customers. So as usual, I'll be walking through the priorities list here. And Nate will then walk through the exact work that we'll be doing for each of the initiatives that are listed in the priority list. So let's kick it off with custom standard adherence configuration. So if everyone's been following on with the previous videos, hopefully this doesn't come as a surprise, but we will start to work on custom standards adherence configuration in 17.3. And our primary focus for 17.3 is on backend investigation on how we'll actually implement this in the product. And to refresh everyone's memories, this initiative is focused on creating a solution where users can configure frameworks as they need to, as well as adding the new ability for users to be able to scope multiple projects to compliance frameworks moving forward, which is a key capability missing in the product today. With this initiative, we'll also be removing the difference between frameworks and standards within GitLab, and we are giving all users a streamlined experience to set multiple checks against requirements under a custom framework. So again, for 17.3, just the backend investigation for now, but please look forward to this in the future as we start to implement the front end and the UI in later milestones. Moving on to the next one on the list, which is compliance pipeline to security policy migration. So we are continuing the work to ensure that scan execution policies add support for compliance pipelines with the goal of providing users a single solution for enforcing jobs to be run as part of a project pipeline. So as part of the 17.3 release, we will be looking to start work on ensuring that users have a step-by-step workflow for migration from using compliance pipelines to pipeline execution policy in security policies, which is also expected to be available by the 17.3 release as well. Shuffling over to the other tab, as mentioned in the previous video, we have a communication plan in place for all our customers that are using compliance pipelines at the moment, so that they are aware of the fact that pipeline execution policies is coming out and that we would encourage folks to actually start to move over to security policies once that's made available, hopefully by the 17.3 release. And as you can see, we'll have a bunch of things around, collaborating on a YouTube video with the PM of security policies, blog posts, having multiple warnings to basically really, really highlight and emphasize and over-communicate the point that users need to really move to security policies once pipeline execution policy types is available, and to really make sure that all your compliance pipelines are moved off before the deprecation date of 18.0. So again, for anyone that's watching this, whether you're a customer or whether you're a CSM with customers that are actually using compliance pipelines, please do not wait until 18.0 to move over to security policies. We will be getting ready the migration workflow by 17.3. And so we really want to emphasize folks to take proactive action to move compliance pipelines over once it's ready. And please do not wait until 18.0 in order to do so. Moving on to the third one in the list, multiple compliance framework labels. So for this one, we're really excited to share that this is really, really close to coming out. And again, this initiative is about being able to add multiple compliance frameworks to a single project. This will be out for 17.3. So please look out for that. And we hope that this will make a difference to how you're applying frameworks in GitLab at the moment to your projects. And for number 4, add compliance adherence requirement for each security scanner. What we'll be doing for this is to add to the checks that we already have in GitLab, starting with creating new adherence checks for each of the security scanners that we have in GitLab. So this is really important for us because we want to help our GitLab customers adhere to regulatory standards and to provide evidence of compliance by being able to generate a report for auditors detailing the last date time that each of their repositories was scanned by a security scanner, as well as providing data to help compliance managers action against projects that are out of compliance. So the checks that we will be implementing will initially focus on confirming that each of the scanners are properly configured, that they are switched on. They will initially be linked within the GitLab standard as well, but we hope that in the future, we will use this as the basis to link it up to multiple different standards and frameworks as well. So please look out for that as we knock out each of the checks for all those requirements. Moving on to the 5th part of third-party connected to Snowflake. Again, if you've been following on with this video series for the past couple of updates, you know that we have currently a Snowflake Marketplace app in order to stream data from GitLab into Snowflake. And we will be continuing to add APIs to that for this milestone, and that being the projects and groups API. So again, please look out for that as well. With 6 and 7, I'll talk about them together. Again, these are product performance improvements, and we want to ensure that audit events and audit event streaming continues to be performant for our key customers. And to that end, we continue to undertake key database changes via the sales initiative and consolidation of tables for streaming audit events. And this to ensure that audit streaming remains performant and efficient, as well as to obviously help them to collect key information that they're after in as efficient a time as they can. And finally, make Compliance Center available to project and subgroups. So we're very happy to announce that for the 17.2 release, that we have actually enabled the ability to assign and unassign frameworks at the subgroup level, as well as making the Compliance Center available for a subgroup level as well. And this is based off of key feedback from customers about wanting to have the Compliance Center and the ability to assign and unassign frameworks at this level. And for the 17.3 release, we'll be focusing on just cleaning up some things from that initiative, as well as focusing on making the Compliance Center available at the project level as well. So please look out for that as we get ready to do that for 17.3. So yes, so this is the priority list as it is. So I'll just hand it over to Nate to chat about the work to be done for the initiatives. Nate, over to you.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, so the highest priority for us in 17.3 will be continuing to plan out the custom standards adherence report configuration. We have done the backend and we'll begin some of those initial backend migrations. We want to complete the front-end implementation planning based off some of the designs that we've still got in workflow at the moment. The next major priority for us was the compliance pipeline to security policies migration work. We've been working on the migration flow behind feature flags. So we want to complete that work in 17.3 and actually enable those banners throughout the product to allow you to migrate over to policies. The next is multiple compliance frameworks. So a majority of this work was completed in 17.2. So 17.3 will just be release, and there's a couple of minor follow-up issues, things around labels and UX things that we have noticed during the development that we want to complete as well. Next is adding the security scanners as checks to the adherence report. We want to start planning out this in detail, understanding each of the scanners and how they are configured, enabled, understanding how we can check that they are enabled and configured correctly and get the first one at least into implementation planning. Next is the third-party connector. So we want to add 2 new APIs to this, those being the project and group APIs, which will be very exciting. Then followed by the sales initiative. So we want to have all of the migration work, fingers crossed, because there's a lot of data there to migrate over, and the projects controller deployed behind a feature flag so we can start testing out this new database structure behind the feature flag. The consolidation of streaming audit events. So we have 95% of the APIs completed, so we want to complete the last 5%. And then look at enabling streaming of those behind a feature flag so we can start testing that in the front end for release in 17.4, hopefully. We're going to continue to add more audit events. And then as mentioned, for the Compliance Center, we want to make that enabled at the project level. And again, there's a couple of minor follow-up issues that we want to release in 17.3 as part of that and tidy up that bit of work. Cool. And that's us. Back to you, Ian.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us for this milestones update, and we will see you all at the next one.